Hey guys, John here. Today we're going to be making a Polivoks analog filth patch, and if that title doesn't make sense, SAR was inspired from the old Polivoks synth from the Soviet Union, and it has a very aggressive unpredictability. The low end's rich, the high end's crazy, so I kind of wanted to make that type of patch in SAR and kind of replicate that sound. So this is more so a sound demonstration as opposed to a musical one, so kind of listen to see what possibilities you can make with this patch and the aggressiveness of it. So yeah, that's what it sounds like here. Alright, that's pretty much it. If you like the patch, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to get this patch for free, it's in the video description below. So let's dive in to see how this patch was created. So the level I brought up 4.2 dB, the panning has unchanged, so straight up and down. The attack is going to be 0.001, so default. Decay and sustain are all the way at the top, but the release is 0.309 seconds. The transpose, I brought it down 1 octave, and the fine tuning is 0, so no change there. In the glide section, both of these switches are going to be up, and the glide time is going to be 20%. Now for the voices section, all 3 of these switches are off, but we are going to be using 8 voices of unison. The detune is at 43%, and the panning is at 99%. So before we go a little bit further here, I do want to disable the external reverb I have, and I do have some EQ on here, which I brought here, and a compressor as well, just so you can see that there's a little bit of post-processing going on in this patch. So in the oscillator section here, the noise level is going to be important because the Polivoks is a very noisy, strange sound. If you haven't listened to it, you should go check it out for sure. The noise level is going to be 28%, and we're not going to be using any sync frequency here. So this knob and slight is going to be off and down. Now for the sub-oscillator, this level is going to be at 63%, and the phase is going to be 25%, and this is going to be up 0.5 octaves, and the detune is at 18%. Now for the filter, we are going to be having it at 75% here, but as you can see this event here, I kind of, as I was recording this, I did move the cutoff to kind of give it a little bit of variation. So this value here in the cutoff is going to be kind of arbitrary. Right now it's 75%, but at a different point in time it's going to be changing. So something very cool to automate. Now for the resonance, it's going to be 13%. Keyboard tracking and velocity tracking are both off, and we're going to be using the low pass 12 filter for this. Now for the filter amplitude, or the filter envelope amplitude section here, it's going to be off, so we can completely bypass this. Now an interesting thing about this patch is in the LFO section. So if we navigate over here to the middle here, we just play some notes here of it. Let's turn this down just a bit here. There's this subtle effect here with this LFO happening because I'm modulating the phase with this LFO here. So it's a very small amount, 18%, but let me crank this up and show you what this is actually doing. So at 0%, it sounds much more in tune, much more clear, and a little bit too perfect. And that's the charm of the Polivoks. It's very not perfect. It's very unpredictable, like I was saying before. So modulating the phase here at kind of a low volume kind of gives that sound back a little bit. So this is default 0% here, so no change in the phase. And now bringing up 100% to kind of accentuate that. So the low end is a lot more, I guess, tighter at 0%, but at the top it's kind of loose. So we want a kind of a middle ground, a little less than a middle ground, I guess. So I had this at about 15% to kind of just give that characteristic back to this patch. So the shape is going to be a triangle. It's going to be tempo synced because that's going to be kind of important, I guess, if you want to sync this up with your tempo. So the speed is going to be 1/16, attack 0, and the release 10. And I said before, the amplitude 15%. For the effects, we're just using a little bit of chorus here. At the depth 50%, the rate 25%, the mix 21%. So for some post-processing here, it always sounds a little bit better with some nice reverb on it. So turning this back on here, if we can, it's going to be a dry sound. Now the reverb. And that's pretty much it. It's a very cool patch, very aggressive sounding. So like I said, if you want to get it for free, there's a link in the video description below so you can download it. And with that being said, let's listen to the patch again and play us out. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.